Good afternoon and welcome back to My Harlem Portraits, the show that wants to shed a light on the fundamental contribution of African Americans to the building of this country. This is a show, as you know, about Black excellence. And today we have a very special guest with us, who is the epitome of Black excellence because she works so much for the community. Her name is Lynette SULLIVAN, aka Netta. She is the founder of Mojo with a Cause and Harlem Nerds. She's a community and youth activist, and she's a mental health advocate for the youth. Welcome to My Harlem Portraits, Netta.
How are you today?
I'm very good, and I'm happy you can be with us because I see that you are working. You are in your studio there, in your office. So Netta, tell me about you. And I know that you also started your career in basketball. Tell me a little bit. You were born and raised in Harlem and all this.
Okay, so just to give you a little bit of information about myself, I am I'm born and raised in Harlem. I was born in Harlem Hospital, and that's located on 135th Street and Lenox Avenue. Um, I was raised in Martin Luther King Towers uh, projects, also known as Foster Projects.
Which are actually right across the street from me now.
Yes.
Right where I am now.
Yes, where
we are neighbors.
We are. That's also known as the Kingdom Basketball Tournament. I started playing basketball at the age of 6. I allowed my talent of basketball to take me around the world. I was able to, before I was able to travel the world, in 1996, I was struck by a New York City bus. Where is that I almost lost my left foot.
Oh my God.
Thank God for my coaches and a group of mentors that directed my mother to the hospital for special surgeries, where they performed reconstruction of my left foot. I was out for 2 years without playing any basketball.
How old were you?
I was 16.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it was May 20th, 1996 when the accident happened. After my accident, after being out for 2 years, I worked diligently to get back on the basketball court. And when I returned back to the basketball court, I was able to be on Riverside Hawks traveling team for women. There, I was able to average a triple-double. We traveled the world. We traveled from state to state, playing in different AAU tournaments where I received national recognition and being highly recruited by some of the top Division I schools in the United States. Being that I was injured and I lost a couple of years, a year or two from playing basketball, I was able to go to prep school. So I went to prep school in North Carolina. I went to Laurinburg Institute in North Carolina. There is where I played 1 year, and I was able to receive a full scholarship to Hampton University, where I was captain for 3 years and won 3 MEAC championships. And I was also received different types of accolades as Player of the Week several times, first team, all conference. And there I tried out to play across seas, play for WNBA, or that didn't work, or to try out to play across seas. I received some some contracts, but I realized that I was making more money here in the States than I was in, playing overseas. So what I did was that I stayed in the States and played here in the US and played on some traveling teams and some pro teams and also worked. Within that, I found my purpose. And as I found my purpose, I'm able to do all of the things that someone did for me when I was growing up, and I'm doing everything that someone did for me, I'm doing now.
You're giving back.
I am.
First of all, I didn't know about this accident you had. So really, congratulations, because very few people would have been able to do what you did after such an accident.
Yes.
So you are really a resilient and strong-minded person, because I think it's not just the physical that something like that affects you, but it's the mental.
Yes.
So
Let me tell you, I had great, great, great mentors growing up.
mhm.
To name a few, Guy Hughes, legendary Guy Hughes, may he rest in peace. Mary Hallinan, which is, she's one of the former coaches that used to coach at Dunleavy Millbank, along with Guy Hughes. Mary Hallinan is, she turned out to be my godmother. She took me in as her godchild. Uh, Richard Pagan. Richard Pagan is someone that I met through Varlington McDonald, which was one of my coaches. They both were my coaches when I played at Manhattan Center for 1 year. And they both played an intricate part of in my life. Coach Rich and I actually went down to Lombard Institute. He took at least like 6 to 10 girls, from between 6 to 10 girls from New York City to Lombard Institute. And we all received full scholarships out of the Lombard Institute. And we're all doing well. So, when I say that I had a great group of mentors, I had a great group of mentors. I wouldn't be the person that I am today without each and every last one of them.
Which explains to me why you are doing what you're doing, because you coach both women and boys basketball teams. So tell me a little bit about these teams that you're coaching now.
Okay, so I've coached on all levels of basketball. I've coached elementary basketball all the way into pro basketball. Right now, I currently work at Longwood Preparatory Academy. That is my 9 to 5 job. But outside of that, I have a not-for-profit organization, as you stated, called Mojo with a Cause. And there I coach youth boys from the ages of 14 all the way up until 25.
Wow.
And outside of that, I coach professional pro women. So most of the women that I coach have played in the WNBA. They are professionally players overseas, and some of them are college players and college coaches, top Division I college coaches.
Wow.
So when it comes to basketball, what it is that I do in the basketball, I am highly connected in the Division I, in the junior college, and also in AAU, on the AAU circuit. When people speak about some of the people that are doing great things in New York City, my name is actually one of the ones that come up in conversation.
I am not surprised at all. So Mojo with the Cause, tell me the name. Why did you choose that name?
Okay, Mojo stands for motivating our jewels, ourselves with a cause. So our jewels are our kids, our babies, with a cause. The cause is to help save youth lives. There are so many kids that we are losing to gun violence. Yeah. We're losing to, incarceration. And a lot of kids are refusing to, go to school or make something out of themselves because they don't have the right leadership and they're missing some sort of guidance. So my mission is to make sure that I provide them with a platform to help them be their best selves and be positive citizens. My work with Mojo has been in the South, been in the Bronx, in some of the toughest neighborhoods in the Bronx, and the east side of Harlem. So from 99th Street all the way up until 110th Street, and First Avenue, all the way up to Lexington Avenue on the east side of Harlem. And then on the west side of Harlem, I am from 114th Street all the way up to 141st to 155th, those type of areas.
And how do you find this youth that you follow and you coach and you give a purpose to?
Okay, so most of the youth that follow me, I work with them from my 9 to 5. Wow. I built so much of a great relationship that outside of school hours, their parents allow them to participate in what I have to offer at my organization. Not only that, I'm in the community extremely heavy. I do pop-up shops. I do pop-up clinics. I just hosted a Harlem graduation walk for all the graduates, youth graduates, and anyone that has graduated in 2021. This was my second year that I hosted this event. It started last year of 2020 in the height of the pandemic. So a lot of them a lot of youth that follow me is from the relationships, to answer your question, it's from the relationships that I build from my 9 to 5 and also from the work that I do within the communities.
And I saw that Harlem graduation walk, you brought together 5 different organizations.
Yes.
Tell me about those organizations. I recognize Street Corner Resources.
Yeah,
she's fantastic.
Yes, with Miss Aisha Sekou. She's actually a mentor of mine. And she is for nonviolence. I love her mission. I love her energy. I love all of what she stands for. First Corinthians Baptist Church is another organization. First Corinthian Baptist Church is a mega church in Harlem. Mm-hmm. And I'm also a member there. And I do a lot of community service and a lot of outreach, whereas that I am, spreading the word and letting the community know what it is that First Corinthian has to do. Michelle Smalls, which is also known as the Queen of Harlem, and Team Hunk Basketball, which is an organization that does things for the Harlem community for youth as well. Michelle Smalls does things for the youth as well. She's also an entrepreneur, has a real estate license, and she just knows how to do great things when it comes to helping the Harlem community and the youth as well. So all of those people combined, my goal of having these people on board was to unify the Harlem community, and that's from downtown Harlem all the way up to uptown Harlem. And I believe in a wraparound process of community collaboration and family engagement, and that's what each organization does. They provide services, especially First Corinthian Baptist Church, especially Street Corner Resources, and especially Mojo with a Cause, provide resources for youth to help them move on with their next chapters in life. And that's something that needs to be flushed more in the streets, in the Harlem streets, because there are a lot of mischief going on, a lot of gunplay, a lot of teenagers being shot, And the message is to have more graduates instead of more kids incarcerated. We want to my mission is to celebrate the youth the same way that we celebrate an NBA title or NFL title when they win a championship. Education should be celebrated. Educational successes should be celebrated the same way, especially for the youth, because when you're celebrating them, it allows them to feel excited about accomplishments and allows them to want to pursue more within receiving those educational successes and wanting to stay focused on that track versus going astray to do other things that could cost them a lifetime of freedom, and also possibly them being buried 6 feet under. So that's the reason why, I wanted to bring some sort of spirituality along with some sort of nonviolence, also family engagement and community involvement. So all of that together, I believe, brings unity within the community,
Yes.
Which makes us, the Harlem community, successfully unified and place for change. The Harlem Graduation Walk is not just for a local recognition, to be to be recognized locally. It's to be recognized on a global platform, where is that every city is celebrating their youth, educational successes and things of that nature. Harlem is just the foundation of what can happen if every city or every state or every country was to celebrate educational successes. It came about also during the pandemic. I skipped a part, but let me go back, where the pandemic robbed scholars in 2020 when it was time for them to graduate, and some of them felt as though, like, what am I celebrating for? We have the pandemic. So many people have passed away. We have police brutality. They felt as though that their voices wasn't heard and their rights were being violated. And you have their peers in their age bracket, killing one another. And, so that there put a halt to their social interactions and things of that nature. So what I want to highlight is that when the pandemic hit, everything came to a standstill.
Yes.
There was no recording labels. There was no recording studio time. There was no NBA games, no NFL games. The only thing that was moving was education and essential workers.
Yes.
So my message and my goal, along with having more graduates over incarcerations and being buried 6 feet, is education over nothing. Education over everything. Education over street violence. Education over gun violence. Education and unity is important.
I've always wondered, when you talk to kids about gun violence and you make them understand how lethal it is to be fighting against each other and in your own homes, like Harlem or in other neighbors, what do they say to you in the beginning? Do they understand what you're saying?
They do understand what it is that I'm saying, but their response is they have to protect themselves. And my response is that if you guys were doing the right thing, you wouldn't have a reason to protect yourselves from anything.
Yeah.
A lot of it is about, block beef. my block versus your block, or I'm gonna go kick over some candles and run back into an area that you're not, uh, that you don't even live in, you know? So you have people that does mischief and they hang out in a certain area and they don't live in this area. But because they hang out there, the individuals from the block where you go over and kick candles over and stuff, they assume that they're here and they come up and they shoot up different areas and they're hitting innocent bystanders and stuff like that. And it doesn't make people feel safe at all.
No.
Especially in the summertime where we're supposed to be out gathering and smiling and laughing and playing music and enjoying one another. You see a lot of people in their houses. You see basketball courts empty. You see, people speaking like, "No, I'm not going over there. It's dangerous over there," or "No, we can't have this tournament." See, you hear tournaments losing sponsorships because of the things that the community has experienced because other people want to hang out in communities and bring drama within the community that they don't live in. And it puts a sadness in a community, and it just puts a sadness in the community. Yeah, and it becomes difficult to have people want to come out or trust that everything is going to be all right if tournaments were to happen,
Yeah. I mean, last year has been a nightmare all over the world. So I'm not surprised that there is more violence also because it went paired with all the police violence, and George Floyd was the
highlight of everything. George Floyd situation was a global effect. It affected the global. I mean, the whole world was making, taking a stand.
Yes.
And I just feel like it was here for that moment and then it just left. As the pandemic is leaving, the whole unity that we once showed and displayed went out the window, and it's like back to its norm, but it's intensified now.
I think the violence is intensifying, but I think because I always speak with my friends in Italy, my family and so on, I think people have not forgotten. People have opened their eyes. Mm-hmm. So they are not gonna go back to not see what's going on.
Right.
So I think that was really important what happened. It has, like his daughter said, his dad did something important for the world. It really opened the world eyes to something that has always been happening, but people didn't know. People who don't live here, people who don't want to see it. Mm-hmm. One last word, because we are nearly finished now, but I want you to know what is Harlem Nerds. Your other organization.
Harlem Nerds, NERDS stand for Nurturing the Education of Responsible, Determined Scholars.
See?
And it's it's under the umbrella of Mojo with a Cause. So Harlem Nerds is the clothing line of Mojo with a Cause. And Harlem Nerds is an eclectic group of individuals that give the youth their mojo, and it rather be wellness, social emotional wellness, physical wellness, community collaborations, things of that nature. It's abroad. Harlem Nerds is just a representation of Mojo with a Cause, but it's the clothing aspect of it. So each piece of clothing that Harlem Nerds make, that Mojo with a cause make. It has a purpose with it. You know, it's just not I'm gonna put this quote up there and it looks good. No, it's always a meaning behind.
So for our viewers, where can they get that?
They can always reach me on IG, and that is if you're looking to purchase Harlem Nerds clothing, you can hit me on that's MWAC clothing on Instagram. If you want to know and you want to donate to Mojo with the cause, and you can find me on IG as well, and that's MOJOWITHCAUSE, Mojo with a cause on IG as well.
Or one word. It's always good to let people know because we can do a little bit of promotion with this, right?
Yeah.
For your cause. Okay, so the time is out. This half an hour went like a lightning because everything we were talking about is so not only interesting but very fundamental to give a sense of community and help the community, especially the young people. And the work you're doing is fantastic. So thank you so much for what you do.
And I just say that, you know, we are open for volunteers. So if anyone is, looking for your kids to do any type of community service, things of that nature, you can always hit us up on Instagram, send us an Instagram message, and we will respond back to you. You can also send me an email. My email address is mojowiththecause@gmail.com, or you can send me a text message, and that is 646-730-6346, and I will be able, I will, reply to your messages and things of that nature.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lynette, for your work.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. And thank you to our viewers. See you next Saturday, 12:30. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye, Lynette. Bye-bye.